Hello, Hot Wheels collectors. So, I saw this at the store, figured to pick it up. Really have no particular passion for this vehicle, but this paint scheme really got my attention, and it was inexpensive enough, so why not? So this is called the Troca, and I would assume that this has been out many times before, the actual casting, but again, this HW Art Cars is the line, and let's take a look here. So I looked up on the internet. The Troca is supposed to be a 1950 Chevy 3100 pickup truck, and that's what these images are here. So let's see if it looks similar. I would say it does look quite similar. Obviously, you know, this could use some silver headlights or something, but the grille, the bumper, the thing's lowered. Obviously, this is a custom truck. It's not stock being that low, of course. It's airbagged and stuff. But Hot Wheels was going for that look, so I guess the only thing that's really glaringly different are the covers for the rear wheels. So Hot Wheels, I guess, customized their 3100 a bit differently, you know, covering up those rear wheels and also adding these little sun visors on those little metal sun visors that people have. Okay, so let's look at the back end. And again, unfortunately, a dark photo and a dark model is pretty hard to see, but I'm getting the impression that those taillights are there, so let's see. No license plate on the Hot Wheels. But the bed does come out, you know, the little rim of the bed, just like on the real truck, so I think it's good enough. So interesting. I didn't even know of such a thing, a Chevy 3100. Never knew about that. So it's always interesting to learn by collecting diecast cars, or trucks in this case. So obviously it's nice to know who made this and what the thing is. It's literally plastered on the model itself. I'm curious when this was cast or copyrighted. 2020. Interesting. Okay. So you Hot Wheels collectors, can you guys tell me in the comments, has this Troca existed before 2020? I would have to guess yes, but maybe not. Is this like an update to the mold? Or is this like a brand new mold back in 2020? I don't really know the ways of Hot Wheels and Mattel, what they do. Okay, well anyways, it's interesting how they, you know, actually have the gold chrome on the bottom as well. So this is obviously a little distracting, but they tried. Although, you know, if you can chrome a base this gold, why couldn't they chrome that in the same chrome? I mean, they're both plastics, right? Or is this base plastic different? It is plastic, yes. Maybe they're different plastics and this plastic can't accept a chrome finish. Again, you Hot Wheels fans, you longtime collectors, please leave a comment if you know why. I don't know if they're just being cheap or if it's physically not possible to add a chrome finish to that because maybe it's too slick or something. You know, certain plastics nothing wants to stick to. Okay. Wow, it actually, you can see my finger moving behind this thing. I just thought this was a totally opaque cockpit, but no, it just seemed to be super dark. So now out of curiosity, I'm just, oh yeah, look at that. There actually is an interior. It's part of this back gold piece. So that's pretty cool. I find some of these Hot Wheels steering wheels very funny. This one at least has a horn in the middle, but the size of it is just so small that it's very funny. Look at that, right? But I guess, you know, there's some lowriders that have those really small, like chain looking steering wheels, so maybe that's what they're going for. So I think it's pretty cool. Yeah, it's different. Just being different is pretty cool, right? So yeah, you got some ribbing on the seats as well. Alright, so that's pretty cool. Nice interior, although most people probably wouldn't see it. Yeah, so I think a little gold paint and stuff would be nice. But on the whole, I think it's a pretty great model for the money. So I'm gonna try now to do like a wheel swap. So let me show you here. I ordered a set of wheels like from this brand and put them on my Granny and Partners Bugatti Veyron. There's a video on that somewhere. But I figured they made a bunch of different styles, so I ordered some, and this gold one has these really angular lines, just like the graphic on the door of this thing, right? This 1930s Art Deco styling. So let's take a look at these. And I'm gonna try to do a wheel swap on camera, which I'm probably gonna have to edit this, because be mindful, if you drill metals are kind of a hard material, even though diecast zinc is a really soft metal. I drilled, one of these Hot Wheels out, and then the drill bit itself broke, and then it went into my hand. So I literally had a drill bit go into my hand doing one of these jobs before. So just be careful, and yeah, be careful with the amount of pressure you put on. Okay, so let's see here. Take a closer look at this wheel. So look at that. It's cool. I mean, it's a solid turned aluminum wheel / back panel. And then I believe there's part of that milling is the center section, and that's what the brake rotor is resting on. And then this gold thing is resting on that as well as the edge. So that's what I think is what gives it the structure. Naturally, if I actually push my finger in there, I'm pretty sure I would bend the spokes. But I think it's a pretty great way to represent a wheel using basically flat objects. So I think it's neat. Okay, and then it comes with these 3 axles and I think 5 axle ends in case you lose one or screw up. So let's try to now drill this Hot Wheels out on camera, and hopefully I won't have a bunch of blood spewing off in this video. So what I'm going to try to do is, first drill out the studs here, but I'm actually going to also attempt to thread and tap them so I can actually make this removable in case, I don't know, we're just going to experiment. I really don't need to, but I'm going to do it anyways. And the reason why I'm even going to drill this in the first place is because of these wheel covers. There's just no way I could jam this up there and then get the axles into the wheels because this piece of metal is in the way. Usually I would just take some clippers and clip off the wheels and then cut the axles off and then just slide them in from the new wheels in from the side, but this one is forcing me to take the base off of this. Alright, so what I'm first going to do is try to find a drill bit that fits the smaller part, the inside of this press rivet. The reason why is because I want to align the hole perfectly. If I went in with a really big drill bit, it's going to wander. But since I'm trying to tap this, I actually want to, have a pilot hole first that's perfectly centered in the stud behind this piece of plastic. First problem I'm running into, I have this old Hitachi drill, DS180, whatever, and that drill bit I just showed you, it won't fit in this. This thing is tightened all the way, but the opening is still too big for this drill bit to actually, it won't keep the drill bit in place, because this sort of thing is meant for like housework or something, doing some cabinetry or construction. So unfortunately I am forced to use a bigger drill bit, which is going to probably ruin this model. But so this drill bit is a tiny bit bigger, but it does lock in place. So let's try this one out. Alright, let's see if I can do this without screwing up. Okay, so I definitely got the pilot hole going, but what I need to do is actually measure how far deep I'm going to go into the casting, because obviously if I go too far, I'm going to put a hole right through this and right into my hand again. So I need to put some tape on this to indicate the depth. Okay, so you'll see I thought about adding a piece of tape as a marker to know how far in I need to go. You know, with some digital calipers or a ruler, you could just kind of guess how much metal you have to drill into. And looking at the hood of this truck, there's actually like 12 millimeters of poster and body work. But I'm going to try to tap it for a very short screw. You know, you don't need a long screw, it's just unnecessary. So this is an M2 metric M2 by 4 screw. But the drill head also has a point, so you have to factor in that, because you really only can thread the flat part of a drill. So I'm going to say like 6 or 7, which is what I marked the tape as. So knowing that, I now know how far I have to drill. Once that tape hits the bottom of this gold plate, I'm at least close. So that's how far I went in. So that's plenty of thread, actually. Plenty of room to thread. Now I gotta do the back side. Oh boy, this is a totally different depth. You know, because it's a recessed bed here. So, okay, so let's try to calculate this. Alright, so if you need to calculate, you know, the depths of something, you would need to have calipers that have this protruding thing. See that? When this front end slides, it's attached to this, well, here, you can see on the back, one of these pieces, this is all part of the same piece. So this opening here on this end is the same as the depth on this end. Hopefully that makes sense. But you can use this to measure the depth of something. So in this case, I'm going to rest the base on this, and I'm going to make the caliper hit the inside part of the bed. So that depth is around 5 millimeters deep from this edge. So now that I know that, I take these two things. Now I know the bed is roughly around here, where this lip is. So now on the outside, there's only 4.5 millimeters or so. Alright, so that's my marker there. That's what I'm shooting for on the back of this truck. Alright. So now that I have those pilot holes, whether or not I can use them or not, I don't really know for sure. But if this is a normal Hot Wheels, you know, that's how I would tap it. I would start with that pilot hole, and then I'd do the tap to open it. But now, let's get rid of the flanges here, so we can actually take the base off of this thing. Logically, you need to have a drill bit that's the same size, or close to the same size, or if not bigger than the flange itself, because otherwise you're just going to drill a hole through the base of it again, just like before. But since I'm trying to remove this, in this case my drill bit is bigger than the flange. Right. Okay. There we go. So what was concerning is the depth of this. I guess now with the interior open, I can actually get a better indication of how far I could put a tap in there. So luckily I started a pilot hole there. So just to confirm, you know, this is how much of the casting I have to try to thread. So let's just see how deep this goes to the base, the bottom side. .7. So I went ahead and did remark this tape to like 3.5. Alright, I think that's enough. As long as I get a couple threads on, it's not like this thing is going to be abused, it's just going to sit on a shelf, right? So I think it's doable. Next thing I'm going to do is prepare the tap. So on AliExpress or eBay you can find this cheap hand drill. So the back end spins so you can, you know, have a little pressure and still move it with the other hand. It comes with this collet here, and it's got two sides. This is the finer side, right, for smaller drill bits. And then this is the larger side, but the larger side I couldn't fit this tap into it. This is an M2 tap, by the way, an M2. So what I did is I put the collet into the thing. I locked it down a little bit so it wouldn't spin, and then I just took a drill bit and I just, you know, did it very slowly because I didn't know if that was steel, but I think the collet might be brass, so it didn't destroy my drill bit. But anyways, I drilled it out just enough to actually hold this thing now. So I probably should have drilled it even more, but now if I tighten this down, it is a little bit of play. That's what concerns me. But if I drilled it further, it would obviously work better. But let's see what happens anyways. So now it's gonna slowly thread this in. It definitely took some threads out, but I don't know. Well, I can see them in there. I think it's okay. Just pushing into it fairly hard and then twisting it. Oh boy, hold on. So this thing came loose. Gotta tighten this collet down again. I see. So unfortunately what's going on is it's unthreading this thing right out of the drill. There's so much tension in there. So you see, that's what happened. So let's try to tighten it down again. I might have to actually get some pliers to make sure this thing's super tight, but I'm trying to back it out now. Okay. So I think I got enough threads there. Okay. So way to test obviously is to take this M2 screw and just see if it goes into this thing. Yeah, look at that. So that it's got enough threads it'll catch. I could probably do it more, but I'm afraid if I do it again, I'll strip the threads. You know, I'll cross-thread it and ruin it. You really only have one chance to do it, I think, to thread it properly. So I'm going to leave it as it is. If I have too much of a gap, I'll just add a washer to take up that gap. Same with the back end. Alright, so I got a couple threads in at least, so it'll hold the base on. Alright, so I'm good to go there. So now I guess we can go with the wheels now. Okay, so I couldn't really video me putting the spacers in there, but I'm going to explain what was happening. Basically I just used a bunch of spare like nuts and washers. Here they are. This is like an M4 clear plastic nut, and then this black one is an M2 nylon nut, and then this is just a stainless steel M2 washer. So I had to use the various combinations, you know, because this is a narrower one, and then the front is, you know, wider, but it's still narrower than the axle. The axle's sticking out a little bit on one side, just a tiny bit. And the reason why is because these wheels are sunken a bit underneath the bodywork, so I think they're wider because normal Hot Wheels, the whole wheel is exposed, right? So, anyways, one tip that I did find though is after I put the wheel through one side and the other, I had to put some crazy glue on the axle end, and then once I did that, I pushed it in, and I used these two screws to push the two together, because otherwise it'll just push out the other side. Right? You have to stop the axle from coming out, and then push them together. So that's one little tip for you guys. Okay, so you know, there's a lot of play in the thing by design from Hot Wheels, and I think that's like a little micro suspension that Hot Wheels puts in there so they can go down their racetracks easier. But you can see, even this thing is as light as this plastic base is, it still rolls pretty well. So okay, so then I went and painted. I masked off the interior and then painted the back black to you know, hopefully match a little bit better. So let's put this thing together now. Pop in the canopy, pop in this. Okay, so that's good there. Now, actually, it'll stay as it is, you know, if you're not going to play with the thing, it's actually fine as it is, but since I actually tapped those holes here, those M2 screws, and a little washer as well to help trap the plastic, I think without the washer, the plastic might actually just go right past the bolt. Alright, so it's kind of overkill, you know, having the threaded and tap thing, but it was a good experiment. It's good to know, because you never know. Anyways, so I added a little extra paint as well, so let's go over some of that detail. So naturally the bed is a little bit more matching. I suppose I should have added a gloss coat as well, but the taillights, I went and added a little silver paint and then a little translucent red over them. And then on the side here, a little silver paint on the door handle, whatever this is, I don't know, and some sort of badge on the hood. And on the front, the headlights, silver paint, and then on the badge here. And then I took a little black Sharpie, an ultrafine Sharpie, and just added these lines here, because they're actually air holes there on the real one. Although it's so shiny, it's still hard to tell. I don't know if you can tell that there's actually black there. Maybe you can, not sure. Well, anyway, so look at this thing. It's I think it looks better. You know, it matches the styling of the, you know, the paint job. It's a little wobbly like this, but once you put it on a hard surface, it's fine, right? So let's put this up on a stand, and I'll talk a little bit about this truck now. Oh, actually, one thing I want to do is measure the scale of it. So, based on the grille appearance, I believe this truck is from 1947 to 1952. Between 53 and 55, there was a different overall length. So the overall length of this thing is 4990. So let's see what this model comes in at. 78.95. So if I take 4990 divided by 78.95, or 0.94. Well, look at that. It's close. It's like 63.2 scale. So I think this would look pretty good in most anyone's like premium displays, and it wouldn't look too out of shape. Okay, so we know that's a good plus for everyone. I don't think my solar spin is going to keep up, but Here's a cool little custom image I found. It's actually got the gold grill and stuff like that. So anyways, it's this grill that makes me believe it's that overall length I was talking about earlier, because later models had a totally different grill in there. It was more like curvaceous. Okay, so these pickups are called the Advanced Design pickups, and they were light and medium duty trucks, and they were the first major redesign after World War II. They were supposed to be larger, stronger, sleeker, compared to the earlier AK series. And then they came in 3 different sizes. The 3100, what we're looking at here, is a half-ton pickup. But there was a 3/4 ton that was called the 3600, and then a full ton pickup called the 3800. They were also available in short and long wheelbases. I think the larger ones, at least, maybe the small one too. But these 3100s were all powered by little inline 6 cylinders between 3.5 and 4.3 liters, depending on what model year it was. But anyways, I do find that it's to be a pretty cool truck. When I first looked at it in the packaging, I thought it was like a 40s Ford or something like that, but totally wrong. So, okay, well, hopefully you enjoyed this little review slash wheel swap. Don't be too scared of doing your own wheel swaps, as long as you have like a hand drill and you're slow and steady. I edited out, the slow and steady drilling, because it would just be too long of a video. But other than that, it doesn't require that many tools to do one of these things, so I think you guys should give it a try. That wheel brand again was called WORDC. I showed you the box earlier, and I have some more in the mail, so I'm going to continue doing some more wheel swaps from that brand. Okay guys, I'll see you guys around. Thanks for watching.